technical difficulties already, mainly because I told my good buddy up there in New Somaliland that I was going to send him a bunch of stuff, right? And by this time, he's probably thinking like this bag of 1 to 1800 scale zeros. Hopefully, he can do something with it. But most of this is 3D printed stuff. And as you can see, I keep finding stuff and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to just send that up there to Vic. As soon as I get to the freaking, as soon as I get to the UPS store, I'll just send that to Vic. I'm never going to use it. I don't really want it that much, whatever. And since Vic likes playing those kind of war games, like here's a Macedonian, see the cell popped out, but you could, stick it in there and glue it or whatever. But so we got a Macedonian ship and it's got like locations you can put weapons and stuff. And of course, it's got the commander on the back tower, right? Well, there's a bunch of those. And in addition to a bunch of those, there's a bunch of these very small ones, right? Like you can't put nothing on them. You can't modify these guys at all. They're just ships that ram things. And then also, Vic, since I'm showing off stuff I'm sending to you, like right here, I believe this is a Fletcher class ship destroyer. I haven't painted the card blue. On a lot of them, I painted the ocean around the card blue. But like I said, maybe if I put the box together like that and then made like a top out of other cardboard and taped it all together. Ugh. It's coming, Vic. It is coming eventually. It's just, like I said, I just keep finding more and more stuff that I'm like, yeah, I want to get rid of this stuff. And then, of course, let's go to chat since I haven't done that. I'm thinking about when I get the money, because this is going to be pretty expensive, sending some of my stuff that I'm never going to use again to my good pal, Holy Diver. And that is basically a bunch of Mark VI Space Marines and some Terminators and various other like Horus Heresy stuff that I never put together because my army is mostly Mark III and Mark IV and even some Mark Vs in there. They're very rare though. Also, something I've been doing is clearing my desk off. So the next time you see the camera facing down, you're going to be like, holy shit, James actually cleared the desk off. What's going on with that? And, I won't have a response, honestly. I'll just be like, well, yeah. Now, I think my good buddy Bruce might be running his game today. And of course, if he is, and you're not super interested or you're torn between, do I listen to this redneck from, Kentucky ramble on, or do I go watch Bruce run his role-playing game? I mean, personally, I would choose the latter. And oftentimes I do. Like the other night after I took off from the stream because I had to help my wife with some stuff around the house, Bruce and Kai had their own stream, and it was a good stream. Like anyone who missed it, I kind of feel bad for you because it was a pretty good stream. And Bruce is absolutely just a great guy. So yeah, I would 100% say, yeah, check Bruce out. If your choice is me or Bruce, by all means, check Bruce out. I wouldn't be offended by, he is, He is one of the bros. You know what I'm saying? He is a Navy bro. That's what it is. So tonight, very exciting stuff. Tonight will be game one because we've already basically did game zero a million times. And then for this particular campaign over the phone. And everybody's picked the type of character they wanted to play. And their characters were all made randomly. So, well, except for attributes. So I don't want anybody bitching. I'm going to say, look, I made this character the best character that it could be made. And I did too, because I have a long history in power gaming. So, the fact that I started with a relatively low standard array because I don't like rolling dice sixes for attributes because I'm superstitious and I know I am. And I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about it. Yes, I'm superstitious. I will not apologize. I try to avoid triple sixes anytime, anywhere. And so by using the standard array, I completely avoid that as even being an option, right? But that doesn't mean that I didn't go through and freaking make sure that the characters were as cranked out for the career that they wanted as possible. So, like the guy who wanted to be the fighter, he's got like an 18 strength and a 16 con and a 16 dex and then like a 9 int and a 10 wisdom and maybe a 12 charisma or something low. And why? Because I use the rule, which has been a rule since, I don't know, AD&D at least, that you can deduct 2 from an attribute to add 1 to another attribute. So if I have to strip a character like down to, where most of his social and, intellect type skill attributes are low, but he's a big brutish fighter type dude, I will do that. And again, I think that comes from my years of being a power gamer. Because, yeah. And right now, I am painting up this dangerous harlot. And don't get mad at me. That was the name of the figure, right? And so I'm giving her black hair because she's an Amazon. And a lot of Amazons have black hair. And I'm going to make the dress she's wearing black as well. And the reason for that is assassins in the game we're going to be playing are not the same as assassins in other OSR games. They're in my opinion, they're a bit more powerful. One, they can use their assassination ability at range as long as the target is unaware of whatever's going on. Yeah, they can shoot his ass with a longbow and or short bow, depending on which one they have skill in, at what level. And if their opponent doesn't know it's happening, then it can count as an assassination attempt. And then their opponent has to, if the assassin attempt is successful, the opponent has to make a death save or die. I mean, boom, right? So right there, you've got this character who can basically just roll up and be like, oh, that guy don't see me, that guard over there, 50 feet away or something. Well, I'm going to go ahead and, take him out. Now, another thing to bear in mind about that whole thing too is assassins get the disguise ability, and they get a lot of abilities based around poisoning their enemies as well as a backstab. So you don't have to play the assassin like basically a jumped up thief. I mean, you can play an assassin like, like someone who pretends to be a prostitute in town as they're kind of casing the target. And then, when they maybe seduce the target to get him alone in a room somewhere. And while they're there, they slip poison into his wine. And the guy makes a save or dies. And that's basically it. That's kind of the way the assassin can work. But I mean, it can also stab you from behind and try to cut your throat too. Squirrel Hermit, how you doing, brother? So, yeah. So in addition to stabbing you in the throat or shooting you at range with a ranged weapon, um, they're also really good at poisoning. I like that. It makes the assassin more than just a thief that had, some extra ability. And yeah, so I'm a huge fan of that. As a matter of fact, all of the thief classes, I'm pretty much a huge fan of almost every one of them. And by almost, I mean every one of them. And I'll say something I don't think I've ever said before in my entire life. One of my favorite thief uh, classes is the bard, because the bard in this game is actually not a lame punk. Like, there's a reason for him being a bard, and his abilities are actually kind of really cool. And unlike most bards, can actually be helpful. I mean, for one, they get decent hit points. They're decent fighters right off the bat. Bards can fight, but they have a lot of really cool abilities. And I don't mean like seduce this or that and all that bullshit, like in other editions of D&D. They have a lot of cool abilities, and then on top of that, they learn spells, right? And the way they learn spells is like the first spell they learn. Yeah, no one ever played one, so who knows, Squirrel Hermit. The first spell they learn is a druid spell, a first level druid spell. They can never cast higher than third level, but who cares? Third level spells, I mean, there's a lot of juice at third level. We all know it. That's where you get fireball and all kinds of shit, right? So they get their druid spell. Then they go up a level, they get an illusionist spell. Then they go up a level, they get a druid spell. And you keep doing that until they've capped out at third level for each. And then every time you level, you're just getting more. So, I mean, yeah, you're talking about a class that can have some really weird, like, he could have Goodberry and Color Spray or whatever Druid and Illusionist spells you like, Shillelagh and Mirror Image, and on and so forth. It just keeps going. And I am a huge fan of that. Now, I have been clearing off one of my miniature shelves of miniatures that, one, I intend to maybe use in game. So I'm going to put them in a miniature case so that I can have them available. But two, so I could put my Titans up. So right here is my little Titans. So you've got 2 dire wolves, 3 or 4 warhounds, 2 reavers, and that's not including the warlord and this monstrosity right here, which is like the warbringer, kick you in the nutsack Titan. Look at this guy. He's got like anti-aircraft guns and shit mounted to his back. Shit ton of shield generators too, right? But so yeah, I've been kind of clearing stuff out, rearranging. Um, not getting rid of, obviously. These are things that I still want to keep, but I also want to be able to put these Titans somewhere so they're out of the way. So, you know. So a lot of the Kthulu miniatures I've painted up are Kthulu, like Dagua, and the or the Great Race guys. They're going to end up in the possibly could be used in the game box. Whereas a lot of the other stuff will end up in the stored until I figure out what I'm going to do with it box. Like this Elder thing, he's going also in the Hibernia box. But yeah, I would, the people, and this is weird. Uh, we'll see if Shadow jumps on or not. If he does, we can chat about things, he and I. What surprises me the most about the game that I've been talking about so much lately, 15 mil buildings. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I built a whole village in 28 millimeter scale. It's got a wall, it's got Russian style log towers, it's got a gate that actually opens, and then the entire interior is just houses that you can take the roofs off. And some of them I've actually glued, like, but I got it out of the room. It was sitting on one of these tables here. And my nephew's bringing his new wife to the house in a couple weeks. And I want everything to be as neat as possible in here. Even though she and I have spoken, because she's really cool. Hi, George. How are you doing, bro? Because she is a really cool person, and her and I've talked, and she understands that, my room has like 20 things going on at any time, and sometimes that makes a mess. But I mean, it's not filthy, it's just cluttered, Zadarak is napping on the new recliner. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the fact that you would even consider being seen with me. And I am so glad that everything turned out to the good with Zadarak. I wasn't worried too much about it because, you'd already said what was going on. And I mean, even though I can't diagnose anything, I do kind of know how certain things typically go, So I was like, yeah, she'll probably be fine. It's like as long as you get them to the hospital in time. That's really the big thing. Get them to the hospital in time, and you'll typically have very good results. If you screw around, then yeah, you're probably not going to have the results you actually wanted. But that happens because of just decisions and choices people make. It's like that compilation. I forget who posted it, but it's about firefighters, and they're like, "Is any of this true?" And it's stuff like the guy shows up, and the guy's like, "I think he's having a stroke," and the guy's literally having a stroke. You can tell his face is drooping, and he's like, "No, I'm probably okay. I don't need to go to the hospital." And the paramedic's like, "When did this happen?" And the guy's like, "I don't know, like yesterday." And the guy's like, "Yesterday?" And he said, "Well, he got better." He got better. Yeah, everything cleared up. And then what happened? Well, it happened again. And by the time you listen to the paramedic talking to these guys, apparently this dude has had 3 strokes in the last 2 days before they even decided to call the paramedics, and it's just like, oh my God. Yep. Like I told him, that's 100% a true thing that happens. And sorry you had to deal with it, but yeah. See, I got this little Hass store in his little form. You can kind of see the tentacles. Might have to keep him out. You never know when Hastur will make an appearance. Got this Deathcore Krieg guy. I haven't done his base yet. May not have to worry about keeping him out since my army is completed. It's got 120 of those bastards in it. Here's a question, and I think I already know the answer. I should probably keep this out. You know, it's the goddess of the Vindo. Thinking I'll keep this out too. You never know when the players are going to fight a bunch of primitive cavemen or some shit that are worshiping this. Star Wars. Hopefully it's D6. That's the best Star Wars, but you know, if you like the other one, that's cool too. All right, what do we got here? Well, something of no use, an elf druid. So, yeah, completely useless since there are no elves. There are druids, though. You know how overboard I've gotten with this? Let me show you something. These are characters that I've pre-made. Now, granted, fighters are 2 sheets and mages are 4. But all told, there's got to be, I don't know, 40 or 50 in here. Now, the players have already chosen the characters they want to play, but I have a feeling that there's going to be deaths. Just call it a DM's 4th sense or something. I definitely have a feeling there's going to be deaths. And because I have a strong feeling there's going to be deaths, I've decided to make a ton of characters, like multiples of every class, all random. And, you know, if somebody's character dies in this game, instead of having to wait around and, you know, whatever, they can just go through the stack and pick a character that suits them from the stack. It might even be the same class, just a different race, you know. Maybe they go from Celtic Scout and instead they end up picking, you know, like Eskimo Scout. And then we keep rolling, you know. You know, to quote Limp Bizkit, we just keep rolling, rolling, rolling. What? Rolling, rolling, rolling. I can't believe there's people who don't like that song. It's like, what's wrong with you, man? You want to mess with Limp Bizkit? You can't mess with Limp Bizkit because we keep it on every day and every night. Yeah. Of course, if you want, you could play a Cimmerian, and the Cimmerians, for the most part, are basically Central European Russians, pretty much. Not necessarily, but pretty much. So I've got a couple of guys painted up like Cossacks. I mean, you can tell his boots still need painted. But that's easy. I just find my favorite contrast color, snakebite leather, and let him have it, you know? Yeah. Cimmerians are weird too, because depending on, like, when you make a Cimmerian character, you get to choose whether you speak Hellenic Cimmerian or Thracian Cimmerian. Unless you have a very high intelligence, and then you can choose to pick all of them. Just be like, I get +3 languages, so I'm just going to know everything. And like I was telling Satya the other day, it turns out the Finns are actually a playable race in the game. Rare, but playable. So it's not just your Vikings. There's Finns as well. See this guy with his great axe and his, you know, robes and pointy boots and whatever. I think he'd be a cool character to kind of play, honestly. I would make him a straight up fighter probably and just he'd just be a straight up Cimmerian fighter with a freaking two-handed axe, right? And he's wearing that great coat because, uh not that anybody asks me, but apparently there's a huge portion of the Hyperborean realm that is just freezing cold all the time. Tropical jungles, that is definitely the minority of regions you might go to. You know, like you leave Chimeria, or not Chimeria, Chromarium, and the first thing you see when you walk out of the front gates is a giant bog/swamp where, you know, that bubbling crude comes up occasionally. So there's actually swamps outside of Chromarium where the swamp is oil, which I think that's kind of cool, right? And, poor people can make a living going out there and cutting up peat bog and bringing it back to power the forges and everything. One of the reasons certain parts of Chromarium are so smoky all the time is that burning peat is constantly covering a huge part of the city in just smog. So, and some people ask, well, what are they doing? And it's like the metallurgy. They're doing metallurgy because another thing they mention in Clark Ashton Smith's actual stories, not necessarily in the book, is that there are people who live in the bog or work in the bog outside of Grimorium, and their whole deal is digging up iron out of the swamp because apparently the swamp has a lot of iron in it. So that's kind of, that's what they do. So yeah, you've got people digging up iron and you've got people digging up peat. So you end up with a really nasty city, parts of it. But one thing that's good about it, in my opinion, especially for role playing purposes, is that all of the racial hatreds that they talk about in the book, they all kind of get put to the wayside when you're in the port city of Cremorium. So even though most of the non-human or normal human types absolutely are not huge fans of the Hyperboreans, while you're in the big city, I mean, you're not going to, try and start any shit, because the last thing anybody wants is to be booted out of, the city. And that does happen. or they just execute you in some horrible, horrible way, you know. So yeah. So the Hyperboreans, they can walk around and act like they're better than everyone else. And if they want to be real assholes, they could literally, refer to all of the other people that they meet as subhumans. But I mean, if they're running a business in Cremorium, that's not really going to help them make sales. So they probably keep their racism under wraps a little bit, a little bit. Now, another interesting thing we've got going on is one of the players is actually playing an Atlantean. And in this game, even though Atlanteans are basically just humans, they have gills. So they're humans that can actually breathe water. And they're completely unable to reproduce with any of the other humans. And the same goes for the Hyperboreans. They cannot reproduce with any of the other humans. And they all tend to be like 7 foot tall with like bone white skin and violet eyes, except for some reason, they're women who occasionally will have pure black eyes. Kind of wild, right? Or pure black hair, I mean. So they'll be bone white with the violet colored eyes, but instead of having the really pale hair, they'll have really dark hair. Not always, but some of the women. But it didn't say any of the men, so whatever. Oh, another character type I made a character for. This is like one I might consider playing is a generic fighter who is Roman. And I gave his weapon mastery to the Pilum and the Gladius or Spatha, the short sword. And he wears banded armor and carries a large shield. So, yeah, he's basically a Roman legionnaire. Is all he is. He's a Roman legionnaire that is on the realm of Hyperborea. I thought that was cool, especially because there are some towns where there are Romans, right? That would be a cool goal to like try to recreate the Roman Empire on Hyperborea. So, when you get to level 9 and you get your lordship, start building like a town and hoping to turn it into a city and raising legions and, running about stomping the shit out of the Celts and the Cimmerians and the Picts. And then integrating them into your armies and, I mean, the ones you really have to worry about are the Picts. They're not great. It's like, for one thing, they believe the entire realm is theirs by right. So you do not want to go into any of the lands that are controlled by the Picts if you can help it. For second, they've bred in pretty hardcore with Cimmerians and Celts. So you do have a lot of half-blood Picts, running around. But the third and most horrible thing is they've also bred in with devil swine or demon swine from like old school D&D, the big corpulent fat men that could turn into giant pigs and like could charm people and eat them and all that sort of thing because they had like this huge craving for human flesh. Uh, yeah. So the Picts kind of started worshiping some of those certain tribes, right? And the offspring of that is a pig faced orc. And then because the pig faced orcs reproduce so quick, they've pretty much built like a huge city named Orcrist. And, you know, they worship their demonic freaking pig god demon things. And I think also Thamagwa, who is like the god of just murder. And they started running amok and have managed pretty much to wipe the uh, basically the northwestern Indian tribes off the continent. Well, I'm glad, bro. I am just sitting here rambling about Hyperborea and painting figures to go with Hyperborea. I am taking just a little bit of break from building because, like I said, I just finished this morning. It took a couple of days. And I'm not sure it's attached to the base as well as I would like it to be. And it doesn't fit on this shelf, so I'll have to find the shelf that it will fit on. Yeah, it's too big to go on a shelf. I wonder if this Warlord type will fit on a shelf. Yeah, the Warlord fits, just the Warbringer does not. That's okay, though. So, yeah, let's grab how many of these do I got? Barbarian woman. Well, it looks like I painted them all exactly the same way. This is a miniature. Hey, Malachi, how you doing, homie? This is a miniature based on the Hero Quest or Warhammer Quest Barbarian, except they gender swapped. And, you know, I've got a few of them. But the rest of that can go there because. And the other one I've already painted, which is actually right over here. I need to go ahead. She's already a blonde. So this one, I think I'll give black hair to. Yeah, and like I said, Malachi, I don't know how you are about Warhammer type stuff, but I just finished this guy. And he's pretty big. It looks like his flag is starting to waver. Well, it does have very small contact points there. But I mean, this guy is like armored to hell. It has more weapons on it than you would think would even be possible, you know. Got the giant plasma annihilators, then it's got like twin giant plasma guns, battle cannons, lasers pointing every which direction. I mean, this thing is truly a god engine, you know. So I've got a message for you that I heard the other day, though, Malachi. He wants you too, Malachi. He wants you too. Yeah. You may know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, then that means you haven't ever watched Children of the Corn, which some people might say is cheesy. And to them, I say, bah, bah. There's nothing cheesy. Also, watch the original one. It's way better. Unfortunately, the guy that they got to play like the main cult guy, not Malachi, but the dark haired kid, if I remember correctly, I think he died, like IRL. And that sucks because he was truly a creepy kid. You haven't watched it? Yeah, that's one. Get the wife hanging out, throw a show on about a bunch of kids falling victim to a weird cult devoted to a devil and deciding to kill all their parents, but not all their parents. Every time one of the kids gets like 18, they have to go too. You know what I mean? But they view that as like a good thing. And then there is, in fact, a demon. And yeah, they're not bullshitting around about it. There is a demon. You kind of get to see it, but the thing is, the demon is actually your favorite, maybe Stephen King character, Flag. But it's just Flag in another one of his personas. Oh, I don't know if that was a B movie or not, man. I remember when that shit came out, people were like freaking. You know what I mean? People were freaking. They're like, "Oh my god!" You know, a town in the middle of like Cornville, USA. All the kids have just lost their freaking minds and murdered all their parents and everything. And when you turn 18, you get fed to He Who Walks Behind the Rose and all that shit. See, personally, I'm not a fan of Stephen King, and it has nothing to do with his horrible political takes, which are horrible, but to do with his books. I've just never been a huge fan of Stephen King, maybe because I've always been a huge fan of R.E. Howard, Lovecraft, and Clark Ashton Smith, even Darling. So Stephen King ain't showing me nothing, you know? Like everything he tries to do, I've seen it done better. Whether we're talking about, It, The Stand, whatever. Which The Stand's not a bad movie, but the problem is, it's like, okay, The Stand. All right. Crazy dude with nuke blows up world, and Flag is the devil, but not the devil. I don't know if they ever figured it out or not, whether Flag is or isn't the Crimson King. Well, if you're talking about in the It, when he has the celebratory 13-year-old gangbang, yeah, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. It's like you got a bunch of 13-year-olds called the Losers Club, and to celebrate the fact that they've defeated a cosmic space demon, they all decide to get together and pound the one chick. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, that's something that everyone always brings up because it's like it doesn't help the story at all. It doesn't actually. I guess what I'm saying is there's no reason for it. You know what I mean? There's not a damn reason for that scene. The kids could have easily just left and been like, "Yay!" And that could have kind of just been it until 27 years later or something. But the whole idea of we need to, all pound the shit out of what's her name real quick. It's like, I mean, hasn't that girl been through enough trauma without getting, ran through by a gang of losers? What's up with that? Yep, Needful Things is one of those for sure. The thing is Stephen King basically ripped off all of those great writers from, the pulp era. So R.E. Howard, the aforementioned guys, right? He pretty much ripped most of everything he did off from them. And I would count Edgar Allan Poe. I would count, Darlith I already said, but there's a couple people I would count in there in addition to the big three I named. So he basically ripped them off, but because it's not the 1920s, he had to throw in tropes. And like one of his most famous tropes that he always does is no matter what story it is, if there is a priest in the story or a preacher or any kind of religious person, I don't think I've ever seen him treat like a Muslim or a Jew in this way, though. They will, in some way, at some point, be the bad guy. You can, if you've read Stephen King, it's like you already know. As soon as they introduce the priest, the pastor, the local whatever, shaman, whatever he is going to be the bad guy. And at a point, you're like, yeah, we all get it, Stephen. You're not a huge fan of these religious groups. Okay. But I mean, it's like in every book, come on, calm down, relax, things ain't got to be that way. You could, so yeah, that's one thing he does all the damn time. Like in Silver Bullet, as soon as the movie came on and it introduced the priest, I was like, yeah, that's the bad guy. It's just like, plus another reason to not like Stephen King is he really likes Maine. And it's like, why would anyone be that obsessed with Maine? Like me, I know I'm obsessed with Kentucky, guys. I know on it. I love Kentucky. It's my home state. I absolutely love it. It's the place I intend to retire to, etc., right? But Maine, God, man. What are you going to do? Stand up there and freeze? You're going to live in the country but not have the same rights that everyone else that lives in the country has? Because, I mean, you want to live out in the middle of the woods, man, move to Appalachia where you can at least own firearms and walk around your property and stuff without, being aggravated by someone like Stephen King. But yeah, after you read, if you really dig deep into that Appendix N, series of books, yeah, he is from Maine. But if you really, but if I were from Maine, the first thing I would do is leave. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, look, I'm in Maine. I'm leaving. This place sucks. As a matter of fact, the only what people consider northern state that I would ever want to live in is, well, Alaska, but I don't think that counts. Pennsylvania, right? Like southeast Pennsylvania, where you're right there in the anthracite area, I would like that. Hang out, go visit the Yingling plant, drink that damn sweet tea they all drink all the time. And Malachi, I mean, I put the link in there if you wanted to join or not. And if you did want to join, but you couldn't find the link, well, then, my good sir, I will put the link back in. Now, right now, I am painting all the leather parts onto a whatever Raceland's brother's name was, Caramon. I could visit you, but I don't know when the hell you're on. You know? I mean, I visited Bear. I visited Shadow. Like I will 100. I've visited Bloodworth. So it's not like I'm sitting around being like everyone has to visit this channel. It's just that I seem to, and maybe not seem to, I stream a lot more than a lot of other people do. So it's like I'm kind of always on. But I don't expect anyone to go out of their way to make sure that, you know, they see my stream or something. I mean, if people got other stuff going on, I'm totally okay with it. Because, you know, like I've said, most of the time when I'm doing these streams, it's because I'm painting. Oh, if I was in Southeast PA, oh, you live up in that region? I like that region. It's like the only region up north I like. Gonna head out to your buddy's house. I hope you're gonna have fun, man. Yeah, I'm a fan of PA, but only that specific region of PA. I can't think of a single part of Ohio that I like. Of course, I haven't been to every single part of Ohio, so it's possible there could be parts of Ohio that I would like. I'll give it that. I do know that Ohioans, or as we call them, Buckeyes, because they're useless nuts, they love Kentucky, boy. It's like every year we are flooded with these freaking Ohioans, right? Oh, okay. South Central, that's like near Pittsburgh, right? Have you ever heard of McKeesport? But yeah, one of my relatives runs fishing cabins. Hey, what's up, Shadow YB1 Easy? It's either a bot or Shadow's had his brain replaced by Migo, and he's speaking to us from one of those glass jars that the Migo put human brains in. And he forgot. They took his name away, and they all right. Where are you doing at 6:00, Shadow, if I may ask? Hopefully you're going to run a good game, like Hyperborea or something. Oh, you were at a parade? Nice. What were they parading around about? I mean, there's a part of me that loves a good parade. Don't you hate when you've got so much dried paint on your palette that sometimes you put a little bit of paint on and then you lose it and you're like, okay, I wanted to use that paint, but I don't know where it is now because it got lost amongst all the other. Oh, you're going to be playing Star Wars. Nice. Nice. I will be running Hyperborea 3rd edition tonight. And then next week we will probably be playing, if I have to guess, Mansions of Madness. And then the week after that, we'll be back to Hyperborea. And we'll do that until people decide they want to play some other game, board game. But I already have a great feeling about how my players are going to react to Hyperborea. I already know they're going to love it. I do have a wet palette. I just don't see a reason to ever use it, you know? It's like, it's just like that, you know? I think there's a lot of things people use in their painting that they just use because they heard someone else say it was a good thing to use. But in reality, they have no idea really if it has an effect or not, you know? I mean, I've used a wet palette. I own a uh, airbrush, the whole 9 yards for that with the extra quiet ninja uh, compressor. And, you know, as time has gone by, the things I used to paint with have gotten more and more simple. You know, it's like I stopped using the um, airbrush. And then I stopped using the palette because it was just like, whatever, you know? So I bought this cheap folding plastic table from Walmart and I just started using it. I mean, for a long time, I used to actually have some custom made palettes, but I just got where I was like, yeah, whatever. I love this figure. One of the best figures I think I own. And I'm going to put it on the table of figures that might see play in Hyperborea because I can see this guy definitely being like a Hyperborean, uh, I don't know, Death Soldier, Fire Lord, Fighter, whatever, you know. Hyperborean Death Soldier would be good for him. Basically, you know, he'd become a fighter slash necromancer. Then again, I don't know if they can wear plate armor though. And this guy's wearing plate now. That's Griffith. Griffith. Yeah, he's definitely going to be. See, I'm going to have a tray and let. Yeah, exactly. If you're painting all day and you don't want to waste your paints, I can see it 100%. Yeah, 100%. But if you're like me and you sit down for a little while and BS around with your buddies and, you know, paint a miniature or two, just do little stuff, then, yeah, you know, it's not really helping you. And that's just you know, like my opinion, man. You know, it doesn't mean anything. Hello, brother. How are you? I haven't spoke to you in forever because every time I call you, you're asleep or something. And I'm always like, are you wanting me to let you go so you can go back to sleep? And you're always like, yeah. And I'm always like, well, okay then. Well, I mean, if you're not, then you have created an AI to go on and, you know, show up when it recognizes certain streams are running. Which, I mean, not necessarily an AI. You can do that with like the most simple of stuff, like a macro or something. You could probably do that. Just every time a certain channel went live, the thing would just pop over to it and say a couple words and then be on its way. Coxine. Yep. I don't know what that means, but I do learn stuff every time you come to the chat, homie. I am currently painting maybe not one of your people, but one of the people from your region. Sort of, kind of, I guess. So, yeah, that guy looks pretty good, actually. I need to do a shirt in a good color, though. Life is, yeah, you know. So here we have my Cossack in red jacket. He's got leather armor underneath, and his head is shaved except for that knot, and he's got a big freaking axe. And he is definitely going on the tray of figures that may be used by players in tonight's game of Hyperborea. In case somebody's playing a Chimerian Horse Lord or something like that. Like that Russian woman says on all of her YouTube shorts, some people were born with good lives and some people were born with bad lives. But the good news is soon we're all going to die and no one will care. Happy holidays. So just because yellow really contrasts red, the trim of his red jacket, I'm going to do in yellow because I want him to look like colorful and kind of weird and alien, you know? But the real quote, Malachi, is when life gives you lemons, you go to life's house and you burn it down. And then you use those lemons to make hand grenades. That's right. You get even with life. You may recognize that little bit, but yeah. It was just a little bit from a video game back in the day. Of course, what you expect from a game where one of the actual kind of protagonists spends a lot of the game trapped in a potato. you say, damn, that was a good game. That was a great game. I wish they would make games that good now, but unfortunately, they don't. Unfortunately, most of the games that come out are just shallow and meaningless. But that game, oh man, that game was amazing. A game changer in the whole genre of gaming. That game was like game changing. And since I haven't seen any of you even take a guess, it was Portal, the first one. At a point, Gladys gets overthrown. So it might be the second one by the backup, which is voiced by Stephen Merchant. And you have to actually build a battery powered potato to keep Gladys alive. And then, is that the Lost Boys on your shirt?
Hello, brother.
Listen, is that Lost Boys on your shirt?
Yes.
That's cool.
I'm making a dinner that would thrill the International Space Lord's fish.
Really? 3 hams?
It will fill him.
3 hams will fill him. 3 hams will thrill him. Why don't you feed him 3 hams?
You're so awesome.
Total Minolat. What is meant to be cannot be avoided. That's true.
Yep. I got my YouTube rewinding. You're my favorite channel than the one I watch the most.
I'm the only channel you watch.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
All right. I hit the joint. I hit the ad, and then Bear just took off. Nope, there he is.
I'm gonna try and not take that the only channel you watch shit personally there, Hunger.
You were my second favorite channel.
Mm-hmm. I'm number 2. I'm number 2. What's up, boys?
Yeah, I kind of like that. Adding that little bit of yellow to the red, the red great coat of this Cossack kind of helped him out a little bit.
Yeah. I need to get over this one way or the other, either well or not. I'm done being sick.
What are you sick with? Just a cold or COVID or what?
The flu.
The flu. The fumbaloo.
I miss the good old days when like no one ever got the flu.
Yeah, remember when we got it so bad at the same time that we were both on Z-Packs? Because me and my brother, we do shit together.
Well, you know. I am just painting up a few minis for tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like minis.
I've discovered something about myself.
You're gay?
No.
I mean, we all knew that.
I am an expert at identifying birds.
Really?
Yes.
What kind of bird is that?
Yeah, that's a bird. That's a bird. I identified it.
You did identify it, so I'm going to go with you're right.
And I've got magic powers too.
Oh yeah?
If I stare at a red light long enough, it'll turn green.
Yeah.
Not your best outing, I gotta say. Like clearly you're sick because these aren't your best. Hunger annoys the fuck out of me with his dad jokes bullshit.
Did you see where whoever posted about the paramedic firefighter compilation?
Yeah,
they're like, "Damn, James, is this at all true?" It's like every fucking bit of it. I've been on those calls,
man. Every
Oh yeah, he started having
fucking
a stroke
word.
like the other day, but then it went away, but then it came back. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to make a sitcom called Insecurity, which is basically about just security working like a shopping mall or something like that, whatever it is they're doing, right? And then I
Right.
realized no one's gonna believe any of this shit, and half of it's not getting past the censors. Like it's just not happening.
Dude, I could make that show about a convenience store at third shift and near Disney, and nobody would believe the shit.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy,
think
man.
someone else already made that show though.
Which show?
It was called Clerks.
Yeah, but
Want.
the crazy shit that we saw.
No, that you saw.
Like your gay midget?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of, actually.
Women coming in and showing me their new nipple piercings.
Well, they're super proud of them.
I was super happy to see them. Get on the couch.
Yeah, but really, should you have been?
I was young and stupid.
Because it's like, I know that guys like to see boobies, but
Bubbies!
like meth head boobies, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second. I gotta walk the stupid dog.
Ain't you got a son?
He's not home.
Ah. I'm going to say, tell that boy to walk the dog. Be like, this is your mom's stupid dog. You walk it. So this is going to end up, I think, being the assassin player.
What are you guys playing?
Hyperborea.
Oh, right. I saw the meme. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
That was funny as fuck, though.
Pastor McKee.
No, the one with you playing Jeopardy.
Now, what is Hyperborea?
This is what is Hyperborea? The category is ice cream, James. Minus $5,000.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, most of Hyperborea is frozen.
Ah, it hurts. It just hurts.
I don't know why. It's fun. Hyperborea did something I didn't even think was possible there.
Make you give a fuck about role-playing games again?
No. Well, yeah. But they made a bard character that I would actually play.
I play bards.
Because usually bards in other games suck balls, but the bard in Hyperborea is actually kind of badass. Yeah. Of course, what's weird is the favored deity for bards is Azathoth.
Of course, because he's surrounded by pipers.
Exactly. That's exactly. You nailed it, bro.
It's because I don't like Cthulhu mythos doesn't mean I don't know Cthulhu mythos.
Yep. He's surrounded by the pipers and the drummers.
My entire
They have this weird ability.
like
You know how, like in D&D, a bard can do
There
something
we go.
like everyone in the group gets like bonuses. In Hyperborea, the bard has to start playing to give that boon, but it doesn't take effect until like the third turn or round.
Nice.
But then when it takes effect, it lasts for like a long time. So, you know, just weird shit like that. The fact that they can wear most armor, they can use most weapons, they get thief skills, they get druid and illusionist spells.
Well, as much as I really want to talk about this, I wanted to run something by you. I asked a question on my Discord that no one has answered or even engaged with, which is basically the concept of, you see all this medieval fantasy art guys are doing, and chicks always have their arms up with swords and none of them have armpit hair. So I went into the research on like, when did that become normal for women to do that, to shave? And it's like the 1950s. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you guys argue over realism in armor till the cows come home. You argue over with that. No, that helmet didn't come along until the early Renaissance. But like human shit, you guys just ignore. It's like, all your arguments are now invalid.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, really.
The only time I've ever argued about like armor, though, hardcore, is one of my favorite movies of all time.
13th Warrior. Everyone argues about
13th Warrior, because the one old one-handed dude is wearing literally a bronze Myrmidon helmet.
Yep.
Which is like 2,000 years before any of that shit.
Yeah, and there's another guy wearing a Spanish helmet that wouldn't be.
Yeah, there's the one guy wearing the. There's a name for that. Conquistador.
Maybe they found it when they was raiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, before they were invented, even. Then the guy wearing the P. Scott breastplate, which didn't come into existence until the Renaissance. Like, that was the thing most people were wearing in during the English
Fifth
Civil
Elementier. Sorry, the Fifth Element and Conan the Barbarian. Do you have a point, Malachi, or are you just shouting out films you love?
Well, to be fair, though, I do love The Fifth Element. It is one of my favorite.
And I love Conan the Barbarian. They're both great films.
And I do not only love Conan the Barbarian, but watched it last night.
Oh, wow. Cool. I'm watching, we got a movie night tonight, so we're going to be watching the original Deathstalker and the Beastmaster Travel Through Time movie, where Beastmaster winds up in Los Angeles.
I love Deathstalker, how at the very beginning of the movie, he fights off the mutants to save the chick.
And then pretty much starts doing what they were going to do.
Starts groping her.
No, it's better than that, though. She's about to be molested by the human guy. Then the mutants show up and kill the human guy, I think. Or no, the mutant. There's two different situations. And then Deathstalker shows up to save her and is pretty much going to essay her immediately right after that. It's like, holy fuck, this girl's having a bad day.
They knew what they wanted, at least.
The new Deathstalker movie was fine. It wasn't... It lacked the Corman charm, if that makes any sense.
I remember seeing Beastmaster when it first came out. I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
It was.
Still is.
It is.
Looking back, I don't know, there's too many buff dudes in little leather bikini bottoms.
Only two.
And Tanya Roberts' tits. So shut up. It all works out in the wash.
Tanya Roberts' tits do make up for a lot.
They do, but you know what? You know what makes up even for more?
The ferrets.
The ferrets. They are adorable. Plus, I automatically like all the mustelids anyway. So, I mean, throw a ferret in your movie, I'm watching it. You know what I mean?
Malachi, the thing is the old Corman Deathstalker movies or any of his old Argentinian sword and sorcery movies, they were doing the best they could with the budget they had and the script they had, right? They were doing the best they could. Yeah. These assholes crowdfunded Deathstalker, the new Deathstalker 2025, and they set out to make a bad fantasy movie. That never works. RoboCop 3 is your perfect example of why that doesn't work. You know what I mean? RoboCop 1, inadvertently the funniest fucking action movie you've ever seen in your life, telling the story of Jesus, except in this one, Jesus is a cop who comes back to life and gets revenge on everybody. Yeah, exactly. I'd buy that for $1. You know, and those commercials.
You can't blame the old 80s action movies because they literally had $5s of dollars of budget to spend on those things.
Some of them, yeah. But the thing is, they did the best they could, so it's a charmingness to it. This new Deathstalker film, they're setting out to make a bad movie. Well, why don't you just set out to make a good movie instead?
Like, cool. They had a budget for that with all the special effects and stuff.
Do you know what?
Which movie?
Cool.
Cool.
The thing with the guy who had the throwing thing that was a
Crow.
Crow.
Yeah.
Cole
I love
is
Crow.
The one that had Hercules in it, fighting against Valeria.
Crow.
Yeah,
Crow was
that's
awesome. And they had budget for that because they had the sci-fi, like special effects and all that stuff.
Kull the Conqueror is the one with Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
and is absolutely awful. And the reason why it's awful is because it's exactly what De Laurentiis wanted the first Conan film to be. Lots of heavy metal guitars screaming and like no fucking substance at all as a movie, right? Now, as a cheesy, shitty film, it's fun. But as like, wow, this is what you did with Cull? Fuck, you missed the mark by a mile, guys. Crow is potentially an awful film, except it's saved by the fact that all the supporting characters are classically trained British actors, including Robbie Coltrane and Liam Neeson. So no matter how bad the movie is, their acting is really fucking good. So you're just kind of like, this is a stupid movie, but god damn, they're
The trauma films.
Shut up.
Trauma films are stupid.
Trauma
You're not talking
sucks.
about Trauma.
There's only 2 trauma movies I'll ever watch that I
do have
enjoyed:
something to
Sergeant
say about
Kabuki Man,
Crow.
NYPD, and Frankenhooker. Those are the only trauma films I like.
However you felt about Kroll, not only was the acting good, Bear's right about that, but the characters were put into incredibly interesting situations. And no, maybe they didn't have the best graphics at the time, but I mean, like when the old man has to carry the sand to talk to the old woman and the spiders there.
Man, there's some great stuff in that movie. It's a D&D movie for sure.
Right.
And there's the rumor that when Gygax was in Hollywood trying to get a D&D movie made at the time, Krull was one of the scripts on his desk. And I've read the original script. You can find it online. It's called Dragons of Krull. And there's no sci-fi in it at all. That was the producer sticking the sci-fi shit in. Because
that was a great scene. The whole finding out about the Cyclopses, that was a great kind of.
Not your echo. I have only one thing to say to you. How much Keefe is in this movie? Miles O'Keefe. That still, Cave Dwellers is one of the best Mystery Science theaters ever, is when they watch that movie and they just take it to fucking hell and break it. And then Riff Tracks does the original Ator movie. I have good news, Ator. She is not your sister. You're adopted. Then Mike goes, how's that hot? Man.
Just like that stupid anime they got that's out. Aya hides her feelings in Russia, and the guy's talking to his sister, and she's reading those weird Japanese manga. And he's like, they could be step siblings. And the sister's like, it's not hot if they're not from the same womb. I'm like, what the hell?
Now, I will say one thing to Un2XS. Zardoz, a movie that 90% of the plebes on the planet do not even get.
Great fucking film.
It's an actual good movie with a great story.
How much fucking coke was Borman on in the 70s? Because between that and Excalibur and his script for Lord of the Rings that got turned down, so he got to make Excalibur instead.
Oh, Excalibur was so good.
Coke was this guy on?
Excalibur was good, and it had the armor pouring in it.
Yeah, except for that weird green light
really
they put on everything.
And it had also Sir Picard in it.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Sir Patrick.
If a boy draw the sword, then a boy be king.
And if you want to talk about shitty budget films that were just spectacular, the original Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, it's insanely good. Dude, when you think that most of the motorcycle stuff that you saw in that movie was local bikers, they just paid in beer. That's fucking so Australian, you know?
And the minivan that got hit and T-boned, that was actually the guy who was running the show's minivan. That's his car.
and the biker guy the stunt guy who gets clipped on the bike and he just winds up windmilling through the air and breaking both his legs.
Oh yeah, that's in Mad Max 2.
No, I think it's in Mad Max, isn't it?
It's in Mad Max.
Is it in Road Warrior?
And then all of a sudden you just see him flipping through the air.
I always thought that was in the first one. Whatever one it's in, I just love the fact that the stunt guy in the hospital was like literally saying to George Miller, "You better fucking use that footage, mate." Like, I didn't go through this for you to put that on the cutting room floor.
It's like Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi always puts his car in every movie that he directs.
But you know what they say. See, if you know what they used to say about Australia, then those movies make perfect sense.
Australia's not real?
No. Australia is one giant trailer park where everyone rides around in beat up IROCs with no fat chicks allowed stickers on the back. And that's pretty much the whole country.
Yeah, he broke his fucking femur. Jesus Christ.
And femur breaks are not no bueno.
No, and they can kill you if they cut the fucking artery.
That's why I say they're no bueno. If it clips that femoral artery, you got about 1 minute.
You're dead.
Yeah. Even if there's a doctor standing right there next to you, you're probably going to die. I mean, it's just one of those. It's like a dissected aorta, which I actually ran on once. And it sucks because you think the patient's okay, and then he drops dead because he didn't know he had a dissected aorta, right? All he knew is he got into a car wreck and like he slammed his chest into the steering wheel and it hurt a little bit, but he's okay, right? Go check those other people. They might be more hurt. So you go check the other people and then you run back and he's dead as shit. It's like, well, okay. Yeah, apparently it's really easy to dissect an aorta.
Well, isn't it like one of the points of the over-the-shoulder street strap is seatbelt is to stop shit like that from happening by holding you in place so you don't hit the fucking steering wheel?
Yeah, but how that aorta sits on top of the heart, I mean, if you got the right mechanism, that thing will just pop right off.
Right, but I'm saying that.
You know what I mean?
Right, but what I'm saying is does not the shoulder strap help reduce that risk, or does it increase the chance because it's right across your chest?
Remembering back now, don't even think he was wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, all right, there you go then. Important safety tip, kids. Wear your seatbelts.
The complaint was his chest was hurting, but then he also said he had got thrown forward and the seatbelt had smacked him in the chest. So
the steering wheel.
Yeah, the steering wheel. So, yeah, that's what I meant to say, steering wheel. Yeah. So if you're looking at that kind of mechanism, oh, yeah, that could definitely, I mean, because they have a saying, in an automobile collision, there's actually 3 collisions. There's the automobile hitting the automobile, then your body hitting the inside of your automobile, then all of your soft, squishy organs hitting the inside of your body.
Yeah.
So you could end up with like, you know, is being a convict still required to immigrate to Australia? No.
I ever told you about that? There was a writer, he's passed away sadly. I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head. He wrote a bunch of Star Wars DC. He was from Vancouver, and he was a renowned smartass. And he got invited to a convention in Australia, so he flew down an 18-hour fucking flight, right? Because he had to link in somewhere in like fucking Irkutsk or something, and then fly down or some shit. So he got to the Australian customs, and they Nigel Findlay, that was his name. And this is like in the late 80s, early 90s. And they asked him, you know, you got anything to declare? He's like, no. Do you have any fruit and veg? No. Do you have any pets? No. Do you have a criminal record? And he's so tired, his smart mouth went a little too fast. And he said, I didn't realize that was still a prerequisite to get into Australia. And they did not find it funny, apparently. And they took him to the little room, put on the rubber gloves, and gave him the full fucking Monty for customs. You know, like they did him like you think you're fucking funny? Well, here we go.
They did him
Let's
dirty.
see how funny you did. Oh, fuck it. Australians have odd senses of humor. Some shit they're really, really fucking chill about. And some shit, ooh, Mad Max time. You know, like, fuck.
Well, that's why Mad Max works. Because Australia is the only place on the planet where that could work.
Well, yeah, because if it was done in, like, Arizona.
In America, I mean, it'd be like.
Well, you could, but there'd be a whole lot more, you know, sex clans and shit. You know what I mean? Like there'd be just a lot of weird shit. Yeah, exactly. Arizona. There'd be a whole lot of like, you know, oh, look at that. Here's the neo-proto-Mormon biker sex clan that rules the highway. Fuck. I'm not going there.
And don't go to Idaho because that's just the Fourth Reich waiting to happen even now. So, I mean,
fair.
So if all shit hit the fan, Idaho would just be like a bunch of little mustache men running around getting into shit.
So Hunger, have you read Valorous?
I've been reading through it. I've pretty much been doing nothing but sleeping.
Yeah, because you know you're supposed to be playing in the game in the new year, right?
Yeah, I am.
Because everyone picked there was 4 of you, and they all said Monday night was good for you, or something like that, or I can't remember what it was. We picked a day, and yours lines up for that day. So it's
Nice.
Monday, I think. So you're gonna be playing.
I'll read through it. It's just I've been sick since the day after Thanksgiving, and
Well, so-
Which makes me have to ask you the question: are you showing up to the game tonight?
I don't know yet.
I tell you what,
Nice.
I'm glad I made that stack of characters.
And I was nice and I passed it on to my boy here at the house. So now he's feeling like death warm over.
Because this is the stack of pre-generated characters I made.
Yeah,
Jeez.
a nice 20 plus hours.
And
Yeah,
since you're the only one playing a cleric, I have a feeling people will be making new characters or picking new ones.
Yeah, young Greg slept for 20 hours last night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's good for you. Like,
Well, with the flu, getting all the sleep you can is good.
Jesus Christ.
I thought it was feed a flu, starve a cold.
No, it's Starvaflu feed a cold, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because the flu makes you throw up sometimes if you eat, right?
Maybe.
But you got to hydrate like crazy when you have a flu.
Yeah, when you got the flu, you got to drink a lot of tea.
I've been drinking a lot of Diet Dr. Pepper. It's 96% water.
Well, the good news is in Fallout and the Deadlands after the bomb game, Dr. Pepper helps to lower your radiation sickness. Because apparently back in the 50s, there was a rumor that Dr. Pepper could help against radiation. And so those guys just added it into the game.
Well, 11 days. We have the season 2 premiere of Fallout. Can't wait for that.
Dr. Pepper helps with depression. You never see somebody sad with a Dr. Pepper in their hand.
Or a banjo. How you doing, Nerdy Ogre?
I'd kind of like to see depressed banjo. That'd be kind of funny. You know, it's like that. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that was a whole bit by
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, man. I'm a rambling man, R-A-M-B-L-I-N. Do Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Yep. And he was talking about instead of giving out welfare, the government should hand out banjos because,
you
never see anybody depressed sitting on a porch playing a banjo.
Best line of every movie. I was born a poor black child. You mean I'm going to stay this color?
I love that. The best
That's
is the night he figured out how to dance. He was like cruising through the radio and he landed on like slow jazz or some shit.
You got my name tattooed on your ass. I bet more people read this than the phone book.
Yeah. He's like, Mom, Dad.
Dog's a hero. The dog's a shithead.
We got your favorite sandwich, bologna on white bread with a crust cut off and extra mayo.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go see if I can get that movie and watch it tonight. I haven't seen that movie in fucking 30 years, if not more, maybe 40. 1979, The Jerk. There it is. God damn.
He's like, I'm leaving. I don't need any of this except my thermos. I'm taking my thermos.
This lamp.
Yeah,
This thermos.
And then at the very end, like his parents are like super rich, and he's still living in like that shack.
But they got like a White House built behind it.
But he's got like his freaking woman with him though, and they're having a good time. They're just sitting out there on the porch, fucking up the rhythm off.
Baby, I don't care if you were white. I'd love you if you were the color of a baboon's ass.
There's only two things you know: shit and shinola.
Oh yeah, I like when he works for the circus and he's sending.
Later on, she said she's gonna give me a blowjob. I ain't never had one of those, but I can't wait.
Yeah, and like no one gets it, but the dad's just cracking up. And he's like, oh man. Look, we just got this opened up down the road, and they
Oh,
have
Wawa.
a 0 sugar, sugar free, no sugar at all, lime aid thing.
Yeah.
So it just tastes like lime, and I love it.
Wawa's the best, man.
But man, Bear, you are right. That is absolutely one of the best movies from that era. Stay away from the cans. He really hates the cans or some shit like that. He's like,
Die, gas pumper.
I mean, I know I'm effing it up, but still, it's so funny. You're just like, biscuits and mustard. Ugh, God. What kind of travesty is that?
We got you a Twinkie with a candle on it.
I mean, I don't eat biscuits at home anyway or from places I trust.
Where you going? As far as you're taking me. Well, I'm going down to the end of this fence. All right.
All right. And the reason for that is I don't eat biscuits from places I trust because down here, too many people think that like they need to add extra sugar to everything. And it's the same with cornbread too. Like, depending on which southern state you're in, you can literally get in a fist fight over whether or not cornbread should be sweet or not.
I don't like sweet cornbread.
Me neither. I hate it. But apparently in Mississippi and Alabama and all those places that have an incredibly high obesity rate, they got to have sweet cornbread.
Sweet cornbread's a Yankee thing too.
Maybe. Well, yeah, it's like our pops when we gave him grits for the first time. He put sugar on it, and it was like, what the hell are you doing?
Grits need salt, pepper, and over medium eggs.
Yeah, I mean, I live around Orlando. I'm so fat, I live around Orlando.
He's so fat, his high school photo was an aerial photograph.
Right.
Is your dog tap dancing? What's going on there, bro?
Who, me?
No, him. You hear his dog's nails on the floor like it's tap dancing.
Oh,
It's both of the dogs acting like tards.
well, I mean,
And that's
they say that
Ethiopian
dogs a lot of
Shim
times
Sham.
will mimic the people who own them.
Yeah, and they belong to the boys, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Sling Blade, biscuits and mustard. No.
Can I get some?
You know, I've never ever seen that fucking movie in my
Can I
life.
get some
Me
of those
neither, but I feel like I have.
French fried potatoes? Uh-huh.
You know,
French
because
fried
you
potatoes.
see so many clips from it
Yeah.
that you start thinking, have I actually ever watched
I
that?
don't think that actually anybody's ever watched that. They just know the movie from all the different clips.
Yeah, it's weird. Now, a movie I watched way back in the day that I loved was Lawnmower Man. Totally not the same thing as Sling Blade.
You and your gore movies, man.
It wasn't a gore movie. It was just they took a guy who was a little bit on the slow side and made him like a super genius. And then he just started running them up because, you know.
I like the 500 million peso man. He just hangs out and sells oranges in LA.
Yeah, it's like, what was that? I think that was on Robot Chicken. Mexico spends all this money to make the 5 million peso man. As soon as they finish, he runs and jumps over the wall into America. And it even makes that sound as he. And the Mexicans are just like, oh, you know, because it's like, yeah, that guy. He was just like, yeah, I'm out of here.
It's like the one joke. Why are there no track and field Mexicans in the Olympics? Is because anyone who can run, jump, and swim are already in America.
That makes sense. Are grits corn mush? Well, it's a specific kind of corn mush. You have to rough grind up hominy corn. And that's a totally different kind of corn. It's not yellow corn or white corn. It's hominy corn, right? And then you boil it for a good 15 minutes until it's almost like cream of wheat, right? You got to let most of the liquid go out of it. And then you serve it with breakfast, whatever, you know. Well, think about a country breakfast. So you got bacon, eggs, maybe sausage, whatever. And you put a good serving of grits on there. And then, like what Hunger and I did growing up is mush up our eggs, which we got over medium, and then mix the eggs and salt and pepper with the grits. And then, you know, basically it's a Southern way to make breakfast go a lot further than like, it's kind of like potatoes, man. How Southerners eat fried potatoes with generally everything.
Shrimp and grits is a big,
Think of it that way.
shrimp and grits is a big Southern thing too.
Well, shrimp and
Especially
grits
in-
is a big Southern thing in like Louisiana, Mississippi,
Savannah,
Alabama.
real big in Savannah. Any Southern area that's close to the ocean.
Yeah, if it's close to the ocean, you got shrimp and grits. But I only ever ate grits with eggs. And if you want to be really special, say you got a little money or something, you can order your grits with cheese. And cheesy grits is pretty damn good.
Anything with cheese. It's like, I don't know why people advertise cheese, because people are going to buy it. You ain't got to advertise it. You ain't got to advertise toilet paper because people buying toilet paper, and you ain't going to have to advertise cheese, especially for me because I'm buying cheese. When I go to the store to get food, there's cheese in the cart. It's wasted advertising dollars.
I want a remake of Repo Man. Well, I know Bear's probably seen this movie a time or two, even though he doesn't share my fascination with this particular genre. But the other night I watched From Beyond too.
Oh, I found something out the other night, bro, that's interesting.
You're gay?
No, I'm not gay. $20 is $20.
Yeah, it's only gay if you liked it.
Yeah, the Fellowship left Rivendell on the 25th of December.
Yeah.
That means the trilogy is a Christmas movie.
Okay. And also, I don't think you're gay, but every time you ask me a question, that's going to be my answer, though.
And I'm gonna tell you, I don't like it, but $20 is $20.
Yeah.
And I never kiss.
You shouldn't have to do that, though. I mean, I thought your old lady was taking care of business and shit.
She does, but
But sometimes you need extra spending money.
sometimes habits are hard to break sometimes.
That crack ain't going by itself.
Yeah, it's just the thought of dressing like a schoolgirl and hanging out at truck stops, man.
Hey. I don't know where that fits in the alphabet club, but I think it's a new one, though.
Sailor Moon outfit.
Oh, do you remember when Robot Chicken roasted the hell out of Sailor Moon?
Yeah. There's this guy who actually,
That was
trucker
pretty
who
funny.
actually, for Thanksgiving, he did a whole Thanksgiving dinner for the real heroes of the trucking world and just served lot lizards.
That's so bad.
Wow. Lot lizards. What a strange phenomenon.
I don't know.
It just goes to prove my theory. Put a bunch of men anywhere, and whores will show up.
You want your real?
If there's penis for money available, they will show up.
I'm just waiting for all these OnlyFans chicks to like in 20 years say that they were groomed into doing it, showing their butthole for $5 online, and they it's all men's fault.
Of course it is.
Well,
Come
actually,
on, man.
in news no one wanted to know, but I saw because I watch Asmongold and everything. Amarath, I guess, has decided to quit doing whatever and divorced her husband and trying to tell people that the only reason she did all the shit she did is he made her because, they made like literally millions upon millions of dollars because thirsty freaking simps wanted to see Amarath naked or something. And I'm all like sitting here like, why? But, or maybe it's a little bit of something else. Maybe it's just like, I think I've seen an Amarath video like being described by Nuxenor where she like basically gets railed out by a BBC. And that immediately put her off the menu for me. I was like, yeah, nah. I'm not jumping in behind that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what am I going to do? Nothing.
I believe I can fly.
Sorry. Who getting railed out?
Amarath.
Ugh.
By like
There's a term.
Huh?
Back in the 90s when I worked at the adult video store, the Pamela Anderson tape came out, right? We had a copy and I wanted to rent it. And this one guy and his girlfriend had come in to pick up movies, and I heard her say, "Oh, look, that Pamela Anderson video. We should watch that." And I heard the guy say, "Who wants to watch that ditch pig get fucked?" And I was just like, "Ditch pig? That's amazing." And that's how I feel about Amaranth.
Ditch pig. Nice.
Now, if there was a fucking video of Pokimane getting railed, I'll watch that. Because that's the kind of girl you want to see get railed.
See, the thing with Pokimane, though, is like,
cunt.
Even though she made her millions showing off her butt crack and shit like that, like just little ways, though. She didn't go full on,
No, she wasn't full thought.
Whatever. Now she's complaining about how she wishes Twitch would just show video games and there weren't so many e-thoughts around and shit like that. And like Asmongold was like, "Bitch, you started it. You were the first e-thought."
But that's and that's why you want to see a video of her getting railed, because she's so fucking arrogant. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to see this bitch.
Dude, I saw her. She was somewhere with, I don't know if it was a boyfriend or not, whatever. It's some Asian dude, right? And Pokimane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's her boyfriend.
Oh, okay. And Pokimane.
Did you not see him? Go ahead.
And Pokimane's sitting there talking all this shit about, yeah, we don't like rich people. And like her boyfriend's like, but we are rich. And Pokimane's like, no, we're not. We only have millions of dollars. We hate the billionaires. Like, bitch, please.
Wow.
What are you even thinking? That is just some like next tier level.
That is some bullshit.
Ridiculousness. But yeah, she's so messed up that It's a Gundam has withdrawn his desire to marry her. And now
she's upset by that?
Too. Huh?
She's upset by that.
I'm sure she's not, but It's a Gundam's like, yeah, I don't even want her anymore. He's like,
wow.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
That's saying something.
But the reason she's changing her tune is she's getting up into her 30s.
Yep.
So her time of selling butthole pics and shit, not that she ever did, but you know what I mean. Her thottery calendar is coming to an end.
Well, and at the same time, these young chicks all fail to understand how much the MILF porn sells. You know what I mean?
I'm out of here, guys. I'm going to eat dinner and go to sleep, brother.
MILF porn was too much for Hunger. He's like, I can't do it.
I'm not going to be. I don't think I'm going to make the game tonight. I feel like death, dude.
Go take some vitamin C.
I've taken vitamin C. I've poured Tussin on it. I've done everything.
No, vitamin C doesn't do shit, but hydrate, rest, you'll feel good.
You know what?
Did you know they did a research for. So they did research on the vitamin C thing because a bunch of doctors about 10, 15 years ago, they were like, why does everyone keep saying take vitamin C? So they looked into it and they found out why. It comes from one book written in the 1950s that says vitamin C is super great for you, written by a doctor who happened to also own a shit ton of orange orchards in Florida.
Well,
That's
okay
fucking
then.
tight, man.
I take it because it tastes good and it has a
And I
placebo
like the
effect,
taste.
apparently. Where,
And I
where
like the
take it and then I
taste.
feel better because I'm like, I took a bunch of vitamin C. Now I feel better.
No, it's good for you, but it doesn't like cure a cold or any of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, I heard zinc or something was the thing.
Is it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like, dosing on zinc and something else. I mean, tell Hungar to go out and get some of that shit that Joe Rogan was taking if he can afford it.
Oh, the
Ivermectin.
the fucking ivermectin, yeah. Well, it's one of the most recommended medicines in the world.
Oh, you mean the horse paste? Oh, that was so
Yeah, it's
good.
not.
It's like, that the World Health Organization has literally given out billions of doses of ivermectin to Africans. It's the only thing keeping them from dying from all the freaking waterborne diseases they get.
No shit.
And then you're gonna in funny CNN still being retarded news. So they showed a picture of the guy that was responsible for putting the pipe bombs all over the place on J6. He's a black guy. Jake Tapper on CNN's like, so the suspect is a white male who apparently was a friend like Trump. Like, and then somebody clipped the picture of the dude next to it and then put it on the internet. So you got Jake Tapper saying white male, and you got this dude. I mean, he's just black as a coffee bean, It's like, come on. It's like, what are you doing? And even though Tapper said he was a white male, he never showed a picture, even though the picture was available. And it's just like,
deuce, you say.
that kind of shit makes me wonder why these guys just don't get fired. Like,
because they're doing what their corporate masters tell them to do.
It's like, you lied. You knew you were lying. Go get another job. You're out. But you're right. It don't matter because they're doing what their corporate masters tell them to do.
Because Pfizer wants them to do it, so they do it because Pfizer is God to them.
That is true. Every time you watch the news in America, it always says brought to you by Pfizer.
By Pfizer. This COVID update brought to you by Pfizer.
Right?
Also, that seems suspicious.
Make sure you get your Pfizer shot.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Pfizer. And if it kills you, don't worry about it because you can't sue us. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
No, I'm more of a fan of brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Fuck it. We're all going to die anyway. Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Yeah. Why do you keep saying that? Because they pay me every time I do, duh. And he's just like, that was the same dude from like Office Space too. That played the really nerdy guy. That was always listening to like a hardcore rap, but when he saw a black dude walking down the sidewalk, locked his door. Oh man. Like, oh goodness gracious.
Oh, America.
Another wonderful movie. I don't like my job. I don't think I'm going to go anymore. What? Yeah, I just don't think I'm going to go anymore. Like, oh, the Bobs were so great in that movie too. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. He walks in and just starts like talking shit, and Bob, I have 5 managers. 5. And and they're just like, that guy, What a pleasure. That guy is just a go-getter with upper management all over him. And the one guy's like, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to agree on that.
And then the one
Yeah,
Bob just
okay.
looks at him and is like, so in a given day, what would you say you do? And the guy's like, yeah. You know, because it's like, yeah, you're in trouble, buddy. Malachi, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. I mean, I believe
What
you
does Malachi
entirely,
do now?
but that's still terrible. I mean, one of these days, people are going to realize that the government doesn't have money. It just takes your money.
Yep.
But they don't actually have any money. Now, who knows? One day they might, though. They might listen to Andrew Yang and start doing all kinds of crazy shit. Next thing you know, you're getting like some kind of automatic check all the time or something. However that works. But anyway.
But anyway, I wouldn't hold my breath for it though. For what?
That guaranteed income bullshit that Yang was talking about to help humans after we get replaced by, robots. I think what's more likely is what was written on those rocks in Georgia, that they would just wipe out all the population down to like 50 million. And, that'd be good.
Don't forget, you can't stay on until people get here. Toilet.
Oh, yeah. What time is it anyway?
It's almost 5.
All right. Thank you for reminding me. I was in my own world there for a minute.
Well, you tend to get in your own world, and I know that.
Yep, I tend to get into my own self and just start doing whatever, Like right now, I am painting an Amazon. I think she's an Amazon. She may not be. She might be a Roman or a Greek. But that's what I'm painting because they exist in Hyperborea. They have a kingdom and they're known for being good traders, merchants and ships and stuff. So this is kinda, I don't know how it'll look, but I need to put the wash on when she's dry, but that's pretty much what's going on there.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Well, I'm going to paint her shield, probably blue, because I think the Amazons worship Poseidon or Demeter, so maybe green would make more sense. And then let her completely dry off and then throw a wash on. At some point, I'm going to paint these Imperial ships. These airplanes I built a while back, these things. And I've already decided I'm going to paint the top like desert or green or something like that. And I'm going to paint the bottom like sky blue, like baby blue, like they did in World War II. Is Stealth Camper Steve Wallace Canadian?
I don't know who the fuck Stealth Camper Steve Wallace.
He's a guy who's got a channel and he goes around stealth camping like all over the place. Like I saw one where he like stealth camped on the inside of a roundabout because it had bushes and stuff. So he like just snuck into it and camped out overnight there because that's what he does to get the subs. If he was camping near Tim Hortons, I guess we could say he's in Canada, but that doesn't make him Canadian.
Yeah, we let all kinds of people in here from your country.
I know. And, no offense, but, so I'm going to say something offensive. All the ones that want to immigrate to your country, I actually want to immigrate to your country too. So to me, it works out great.
Mm-hmm.
All the hippies and draft dodgers and shit, I don't want them here. So,
We're not special.
Could it be
Satan?
But, whatever. For what it's worth, if I had to live somewhere other than America or Greece, I'd probably choose Canada. But I'd want to live in Calgary or something like that,
You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Huh?
You wouldn't be able to handle Calgary.
Look, one of my best friends lived there, so I think I could.
Yeah, but you've been in Florida for too long. Your body would rebel and just freeze to death.
Look, I can adjust.
Okay.
That's what we do. We're humans. We adjust.
Yeah, that's what young humans do.
Which I talked to my mom the other day, and it was she's getting some snow flurries up on the mountain.
Oh, yeah, well, we had snow here today.
I was like, that is nice. And she's like, not really. I'm like, why? And she's like, because I got to walk all these damn dogs. And I have no sympathy for her because no one should own 5 dogs.
No.
Those dogs
that's a bit
ruined
much.
my entire visit to see my mom. It was like from the minute I showed up till the minute we left, they just stood in the living room and barked at each other.
Like dogs do.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, you'd think after an hour or two of that, they'd get bored, right? Move on with their lives. But nope. Father Aaron immigrated, but that might be because when you're like a priest in his church, they can tell you, hey, if you want your own whatever congregation of stuff, you're going to have to go here or there or the other place, I mean.
Hello.
So while he is originally from Wisconsin, which is practically just southern Canada anyway, I have a feeling that his church was like, look, man, we got a congregation up here in Canada. How you feel about it? And he's like, sure, man, whatever. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin. How different could it be,
Little did he know.
Half of your see, my mother-in-law lives in Canada, but I think it's like Eastern Canada, like near New York. I'm not sure though.
There's a lot of New York state border with Canada.
Yeah. But I think it's near the falls, but I could be totally wrong.
Then that's not Eastern. It's technically Eastern, but it's not what we call Eastern Canada. That's Toronto.
And next time I talk to her, I will ask, and then I'll know.
Cool beans.
But like so many people, she had a Canadian parent and an American parent, so she gets to pick where she wants to be. So sometimes they go to Canada to visit that side of the family, and then other times they come back to, I think they're living in Michigan now, and, do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's really nothing more to that story, Bear. That's pretty much the story. Half of her family lives in Canada. The other half lives down here. And so they're old and they travel a lot. End of story. But she, I would say, is more of a Canadian patriot than an American one. But I kind of understand that since that's where she was actually, I think, born and raised. You know what I mean? So even though she got the dual citizenship, I think she likes Canada better, wherever it is she lives. And I had a half Canadian in my unit when I was in the Army. His name was Cybout. And all he did
Sorry,
was
what? Cybok?
Cybout. I don't even know what kind of name that is.
No, either.
Cybout. But he had been in the Ranger Battalion, and he decided he didn't want to be there, so they sent him to my unit because we were the Ranger Reject unit. So pretty much if anyone failed or decided they didn't want to be a Ranger, they came to 3-7, right? This dude cursed so much. It was like he couldn't say a sentence without throwing the F word in it somewhere. And he had joined the United States Army as an infantryman and airborne. He was airborne, obviously, because he wanted to see action, and he didn't think he ever would if he joined the Canadian military, because you guys don't go around the world starting wars and shit all the time. So he figured if he wanted to actually fight in a war, his best chance was America. And it turned out he was right, because he was with us when we went over to Iraq. So good guy, though. Good guy, but man, the mouth on that guy. And he was from Western Canada, like BC or some shit like that.
Canada's California, as we call it.
Yeah, because he looked like a Ken doll if Ken was like 6'3". You know what I mean? He was that Chad blonde-haired dude, built, because of course we all worked out all the time, but I mean, and like I said, he's a good dude to have around in a tight situation. I mean, yep. And he's in Canada now, and I hope he is doing wonderful in their version of California, because, yeah, he deserves it. You know what I mean?
Cool.
He put in work, and he was a good guy that I would take into combat any day of the week. I mean, not that that's the only reason you should judge anyone as good or bad, but still, it is a reason. And if one of those reasons is I can trust this guy, he's not going to let me get killed, well, there you go. I mean, right? You were a bouncer, so I bet you in your life there were times when you got to work and saw who you were going to be working with, and you were just like, it's not going to be a great night. And then there were other times when you showed up and that big Indian was standing there, and you're like, all right, we're going to have a pretty good time.
I used to work with this one bouncer in Vancouver. His name was Suki. He was East Indian, but he was a big son of a bitch, and he looked exactly like the Chicago Blackhawks mascot. Like, it was crazy. He didn't look like hello, I'm from India. He looked like, hey, what's going on? I'm Indian. But he was the India type. But he looked red American, right?
Right.
And he was so fucked. Like, he was a good guy, Suki. Well, you want him on your side in a fight. He was so fucking easy to get along with. He wound up, now Hell's Angels are all racist, yet he wound up running a fucking chapter.
Dude, I think racism is dead. And the reason I say that is when I found out that the Aryan Brotherhood in prison accepts people who are at least half white, I was like, you know what? I think racism's actually dead. At that point, it's like, all right, you guys really don't believe any of that shit. You might get a swastika tattooed across your face, but I mean, one of your leaders was a Jewish dude, and you'll take anybody as long as they're at least half white. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you edgelords. Not that I'd say that to them because they would murder me.
Yes.
That's why politicians are always going off on white supremacy crime, because they count all the crimes the Aryan Brotherhood does in the prison system as part of the stats. And it's like, well, yeah, if you're going to count those assholes, of course it's going to look like America's just crawling with racists waiting behind every tree to jump out and stab a black dude. But in reality, no, that's just the prison system. So, and then they refuse to call gang shootings mass shootings. So all mass shootings are generally done by white guys, or lately transsexuals. But when the black gangs go off and kill 10 people, yeah, that's just gang violence. Stats are a bitch. But anyway, I got to get out of here.
All right.
Because my wife was cool and she let me wait till today to. Aryans are from, they think, Iran, which is why Iran changed its name from Persia to Iran. They got it in their head that they might be the Aryans.
Well, they came out of India, migrated across into Iran, and then northward where they become the Aryans.
Yeah, I mean, who even knows? I don't even know exactly what an Aryan is. I mean, if you listen to those guys that are into the whole Thulian like bullshit, they come from the North Pole. And they were tall and golden haired, and all the other humans were subhuman. And then eventually their realm, which was called Hyperborean, sank under the ocean and took Mu, Lemuria, and Atlantis with it. And then us humans who remained, we become the dominant humans. Now, I think that did not happen. That's probably not, the way anything went. But for a while, I think in World War II, right? Didn't some of the guys in World War II, they were members of like the Thulian Society or some shit like that? And yeah, they got into some wild ass occult shit. Let's just say that. They got into some wild occultic kind of stuff. As far, I mean, there was one dude who claimed that the original Aryans come from Tibet. I mean, it's like, I'll be honest, guys, I'm too lazy to care where the original anything came from. I did find out where the original Slavs come from, though. And it was super interesting. Did I tell you about this, Spare?
Go ahead.
Basically, you know how Central Europe, you had Kurgans, you had your Plains horsemen, you had Vikings, you had like all these people, Scythians and Avars, all these people, right? And then in a very short period of time, we're talking the course of decades, right? They freaking all vanished. And then everywhere they had been was just Slavs. And people have been trying to figure out, like, what happened. Like, did the Slavs just show up from somewhere and, like, wipe everybody out?
Murder everybody? What happened? Yeah.
No, it turns out that the Slavic language was very easy to learn compared to a lot of those older languages. So the Slavs would just show up and be like, hey, can we live here? And they would, like, start farming and shit. And they were better at farming than a lot of the other dudes. And in the course of a decade or two, all those other dudes just start speaking the Slavic language and adopting Slavic culture. So the Scythians didn't get wiped out. They actually become the Slavs.
I do want to thank you for doing one thing.
What's that?
Referring to them as Scythians and not this fucking modern trend where everybody calls them Scythians. That drives me up the fucking wall.
Dude, it drives me up the wall every time I hear the Boston Celtics be called the Boston Celtics. Because it's like Celt. They are Celts. But anyway, yeah. So like,
or my other personal favorite before we go, Sargon of
Akkad.
Right. So why do they call them Akkadians all the time? They're the Akkadians.
So should it be Akkad?
No, Akkadians. It's Sargon of Akkad. Therefore, the people are the Akkadians. which matches all of the phonetics of the Middle East properly. But for some reason, modern people call them the Acadians. No, the Acadians are from Nova Scotia. Fuck, stop.
Yeah, the
Just
Acadians
stop.
live in the swamps down in New Orleans. They're making like gator gumbo and shit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I think
Exactly.
Sargon or one of those dudes did a video about Akkad, and they said it was like the first truly evil civilization to rise. Because apparently those dudes
Wow.
in that Golden Crescent area there, they were into some wild
Yeah.
ass shit. You know what I'm saying?
I believe it.
So, but anyway,
I mean, you
peace
know,
and love,
look at their
homie.
fertility god idols. All right, man. See you later.
It's good to see you. Wish me luck tonight.
Good luck. Have a great game.
Yep.